Colorado's high-definition news leader. This is News Channel 13, where the news comes first.
Welcome back to Krdo News Channel 13 at 4:30. I'm Rob Namnam.
And I'm Rana Novini. We're tracking breaking news that just into our newsroom this afternoon. An 11-year-old accused of stabbing his mother in Monument earlier this month is facing an attempted first-degree murder charge.
The El Paso County Sheriff's Office confirmed he was booked into the Spring Creek Juvenile Facility. Investigators say the boy stabbed his mom several times before jumping or falling from a third-floor window. She did survive. Let's shift gears now and check in with the weather that's currently going on outside. This is a look at Pueblo West.
Yeah, 73 degrees out there, but clouds overhead. And Storm Tracker 13 Chief Meteorologist Rachel Plath is tracking storms, of course, in southern Colorado, same time every day, it seems.
Yeah, we have another round of them outside today. Thankfully, though, nothing severe to report this afternoon. Want to take you outside, show you your Storm Tracker 13 live HD Doppler radar. And the strongest storms that we are tracking, again, not severe, but producing a decent amount of rain, are right near Lamar and just toward the south and east of the city. We will continue tracking these as they shift off toward the north and east. We're tracking a few storms up across the high country too. Salida getting a bit of light rain, as is some portions of eastern Pueblo County. The storms this afternoon, they are not going to be widespread by any means, and most areas are going to end up staying dry. However, we are going to keep an eye on the potential for storms here over the next couple of hours. So if you're not seeing rain outside just yet, not a bad idea to keep the umbrella with you, because we are going to continue to track those cells popping up. And again, not expecting anything in the way of severe. So good news there. 67 degrees is what we're sitting at in Colorado Springs. We're also sitting at 67 degrees in Canyon City. A bit warmer in Pueblo, 74 degrees. The current temperature, 78, is what we have currently in La Junta. Into tonight, we are expecting overnight lows to fall to 44 degrees. Any showers that we have out there this evening, those will come to an end by about midnight. We'll be left with mostly to partly cloudy skies by early tomorrow morning. 48 degrees is what you can expect in Pueblo tomorrow. We'll wake up to a mixture of clouds and sunshine, but then once again we'll get that afternoon round of thunderstorms to push through. High temperatures topping out in the 60s and 70s once again. Coming up a little later on in the newscast, I'll track when those showers push into your part of the state. We'll also talk about what you can expect this weekend as far as storm chances. Robin Miranda, back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Rachel. Well, two more popular running and hiking trails are closed because of last week's severe weather. Portions of Greenway Trail along Monument and Fountain Creeks and Foothills Trail at Garden of the Gods have restricted access because of flooding. But as Krdo News Channel 13 Zach Pagano shows us, the closures aren't stopping runners from lacing up.
Inside Garden of the Gods, there are more than 15 miles of trail to bike or hike.
The beauty of the garden, a variety of the trails, and just an awesome place to run.
But lately, runners like John Gardner have noticed rough terrain.
I think overall the trails are in pretty good shape, but there's definitely some erosion from the rain we've had.
Recent storms not only damaged trails, but some are temporarily closed. A portion of Greenway Trail is also closed after rain caused washouts near Fountain Creek. Runners say this much flooding is unusual on these trails.
Over the last, 10 years or so, it's been pretty dry. And then when you get this amount of water in this short amount of time, it definitely has an effect on the trails.
Tim Steffens runs at Garden of the Gods twice a week, but he has to find a new way to get to the park.
I work right over off of Garden of the Gods and 30th Street, and I will run from work, and that closed my access to get into the park from over there.
While some trail users don't mind extra precipitation,
We can always use the moisture, so it's pretty nice, especially with the peak this morning. All that snow on there, it's just beautiful.
they say it helps keep the scenery looking great in the long run. In Colorado Springs, Zach Pagano, KRDO News Channel 13.
And the city says it does not know when the trails will reopen. Runners and hikers are encouraged to look out for any other washouts from the rain.
Several people living in a Superfund site in Pueblo are petitioning for their property taxes to be cut in half. Pueblo realtor David Webb says those who live in the Eilers and Bessemer neighborhoods are not able to get a loan because they live in a Superfund area. He's circulating a petition asking the county assessor to cut their property taxes by 51%. Webb says he tried to buy a property in the Superfund site, but banks won't loan money to homes to buy there.
People may just walk away from their properties, saying, I can't get what I need for it, my loan is too high. Guess what, bank? Now you've got a property that you can't sell. Good luck.
County Assessor Frank Beltran tells us he can't comment on the petition because he hasn't seen it. The Environmental Protection Agency is starting to test the soil in the Superfund site. We were in the Eilers neighborhood today as the EPA collected soil samples. They are testing for high levels of lead and arsenic. Coming up on KRDO News Channel 13 at 5, we spoke with a homeowner who says he's eager to get his soil tested, but doesn't think the EPA will find anything alarming. A Secret Service agent accused in drunk driving incident at the White House is planning to retire. Mark Connolly served as a second-ranking agent on President Obama's detail. A report says Connolly and a second agent were likely intoxicated in the incident 2 months ago. Connolly and another agent are accused of disrupting the investigation of a possible bomb at the White House.
The fate of convicted Boston Marathon bomber Dzhokhar Tsarnaev is in the hands of a jury. The death penalty is an option for jurors, but so is life in prison. If Tsarnaev's life is spared, he is likely to spend the rest of it at Supermax in Canyon City. Reporter Alexandra Field talks to a former warden to show what it's like for inmates.
The Supermax is a life after death. It adds punishment to the crime.
The AdMax in Florence, Colorado, the country's only federal supermax. It's known as the Alcatraz of the Rockies. It's considered the country's most secure prison.
Today there's 420 inmates in the prison. They've killed staff, they've killed guards. They've earned, if you will, the right to go to the Supermax. You're looking at people like Ramzi Yousef, the 1993 World Trade bomber. Timothy McVeigh was there. Nichols is still there. The shoe bomber, the Unabomber, you can go on and on.
Soon, this could be home to the marathon bomber. It's closed off to the rest of the world. Inside, the most dangerous inmates are sealed off.
You're designing it so the inmates can't see the sky, intentionally. When it really hits you is that you're looking at the beauty of the Rocky Mountains in the backdrop. When you get inside, that's the last time you'll ever see it. As you're pulling up to this complex, there's shotguns in plain view, there's 9mm on this tear gas, they're going by 12 gun towers, and that's before you even say hello to anyone. You'll be in leg irons, a belly chain, handcuffs, and you're passing hundreds of cameras. It's almost all concrete. You're going to be in that box, these 84 square feet of room, most likely for the rest of your life. His life, if he goes there, is pathetic no matter how you spin it. And it's, in my opinion, far much worse than death.
Tsarnaev jurors deliberated for only an hour yesterday, but they're back at it today. Eric Rudolph, the Olympic Park bomber, says the prison is meant to inflict misery and pain, and a former warden described the place as a cleaner version of hell. So interesting to look inside there and see what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, basically they are looked at as very down upon society, and rightfully so. So they only get out for an hour a day, and working at that Supermax prison, I can only imagine, must be a very difficult task, because more or less they're treated like animals, and when they get out for an hour, they act like animals.
Absolutely. It's considered the most secure prison in the country, so a lot of pressure on that situation.
No doubt.
Well, a picture can say 1,000 words. What one mom wants you to know about the adverse effects of tanning beds.
We are tracking a few scattered showers across southern Colorado currently. Here's a look at your skycast through the rest of the afternoon and into this evening. We'll still keep a few storms moving across the state. However, as we take you into the first part of tonight, everything for the most part should come to an end with the exception of a few storms lingering out across the Colorado-Kansas border. Coming up after the break, we'll track when the storms return tomorrow and whether they'll impact your weekend.
Our wet spring has made a long-time erosion problem even worse for some homes in one Northeast Springs neighborhood. We'll have the full story tonight at 5.
Welcome back. We want to take you outside to I-25 and Woodman this Thursday afternoon. Traffic looking good, and all in all, a nice looking day in southern Colorado.
Hey, Rachel, I was looking at the calendar. It says Thursday. Can we look forward to the weather this weekend?
You know, as a whole, this weekend is going to be a lot better than last weekend. That is for sure. Last Saturday, we had a lot of severe weather across Colorado. We had a blizzard that moved in during the evening hours and carried through early Sunday morning. We're not tracking that this weekend, but we will keep storms in the forecast. Take a look at your rain chances here as we head through the rest of the work week and into this weekend. We'll have about a 20 to 30% chance for storms each afternoon, Friday, Saturday, again on Sunday. Monday night, we're going to kick that storm chance back up to 30%. Tuesday, however, looking to be the most active day that we have here over the next week. Tuesday, the day where we'll likely see severe weather returning to southern Colorado. Let's talk about your low temperatures tonight. We're going to be dropping into the 40s and 50s across southern Colorado, so it's going to be very similar temperature-wise to the conditions that we had last night. Tomorrow we'll drop the temperatures by just a handful of degrees. We'll still be in the 60s and 70s though. We'll hit 66 in Colorado Springs with 70s and 80s from La Junta to Lamar. 75 degrees in Pueblo with 70 degrees as your high temperature in Trinidad. Tomorrow morning as you're heading out the door, we'll have a mixture of clouds and sunshine. The clouds, just like we had out there today though, should thicken up moving in from the west as we take you toward lunchtime. We'll start to see the showers popping up first across the high country. And Skycast isn't crazy about breaking out storms along the I-25 corridor. However, we are expecting to see a few cells that are going to slide from the mountains and across the plains. So we will have to monitor that threat late tomorrow afternoon and into the evening. We'll even keep a few storms around south of Highway 50 by about 10 o'clock. So tomorrow, once again, you're going to want to keep the umbrella handy. Now, not everybody is going to see a storm. They're not going to be widespread by any means, but kind of like what we have out there today, they're going to be the hit or miss variety of thunderstorms. The good news is not expecting anything severe tomorrow. Shouldn't see any severe weather over the weekend either. 59 degrees on Saturday, 64 on Sunday. Sunday, as of right now, looking to be the warmer and the drier of the two weekend days. So if you're trying to pick which weekend day to spend some time outside, Sunday will be the better of the 2 days. Sunday morning, likely going to be the best time frame of the weekend. Monday, as a whole, shouldn't be all that bad. The storms are going to hold off until the evening and into Monday night. Then Tuesday will be one of those days where we'll wake up to rain and we'll go to sleep with the rain. 54 degrees is what we will end up with on Tuesday. A 50% chance for storms, and as I mentioned, Tuesday looking to be the day where we could see severe weather once again across the state. Pueblo 75 degrees tomorrow, 67 on Saturday. We'll warm it back up to 71 degrees on Sunday. In Pueblo, just a 10% chance for isolated storms both Friday and again on Sunday before we kick that chance up to 30% on Monday. Tuesday, storms from start to finish. 60 degrees is all we're going to get to before we're back in the 70s Wednesday. We'll cool it down with another system that's going to push through late next week. In Canyon City tomorrow, 71 degrees will be your high. 64 on Saturday. Sunday, 69 degrees, so we'll fall just short of that 70-degree mark. Low 60s on Monday and then 50s on Tuesday, 50s, and a very active afternoon on Tuesday. Teller County, 55 degrees tomorrow. 50s will take us through the weekend with 40s expected early next week. You'll notice we are using the rain snow icon for Teller County. Many of the higher elevations in Teller County will likely see that rain snow mix. However, we are not anticipating anywhere near the accumulations that we had this past weekend. Now that changes up across the ski resort locations. That's where we could see up to a foot of snow for some of the highest peaks we have here in Colorado, so we'll have to keep a very close eye on that. But otherwise, lower elevations, just rain this weekend.
Just some rain.
And that's typical for this time of year for people who are new to Colorado, seeing the white caps in the mountains usually through the summer.
Yeah, usually through about June, and then July we start to see things melting up across those highest peaks. But we do have to be careful this weekend because, of course, any bursts of heavy rain that push over saturated grounds from recent rain or area burn scars could prompt some flooding concerns. So we'll be monitoring that very closely, not only tomorrow, but also all the way through the weekend.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you, Rachel. Breaking the habit of smoking is not an easy task, but doctors say you may be able to train your brain to kick the habit.
Can you hear me? Excellent.
Hi.
Hi, Rana.
Hi, Rana.
Oh, yeah, get that up there, the first aid, Dr. John.
Look at that. That's not going to hold.
Where's the poster of you?
Yeah.
It's not going to hold. Daggone it.
Have your kid just come in and hold it up.
That's right. That'd be funny. How you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Excellent.
Excellent. No traffic this time.
Jeepers, no kidding, man. That was ridiculous.
What are we talking about today? Smoking.
Tanning beds.
Tanning beds.
Smoking and sunscreen
Smoking
and skin cancer and
The
blah.
Surgeon General says it's now good for you?
That's right.
Smoking and tanning is good for you.
This just in. Yeah.
Yeah. So many vitamins.
Dun, dun, dun.
Tar is good for babies.
Eat paint chips.
How's that mic sound? Pretty good?
It sounds
Is this the fancy
pretty
one?
good.
Excellent. All right. It's Thursday. Let me, oh, what's going on there? Oh, what's going on?
Welcome back. It's Thursday. That means a virtual house call from KRDO News Channel 13's Dr. John Torres. Good afternoon, Dr. John.
Good afternoon. How are you guys doing today?
Doing well. Glad to
The
see you,
weather's
Dr.
much
John.
better this week, right?
It sure is. Hey, we're glad to see you. Now, there are studies out there that say it can help people kick the habit of smoking, which is a difficult task for many.
It is, and it's always a good time to quit, and the important thing is to keep trying and try again, because that's how you're successful. But one of the things that these studies have found out is there's a connection in your brain that can determine how hard it will be for you to quit. And a second study says that bribery, straight up bribery, seems to be the one thing that will do the trick. So let's go ahead and talk about your brain first. Researchers found that people who had stronger connections between two regions of the brain were more likely to be successful at giving up smoking at least 10 weeks later. One region of the brain involved in reward, the other in controlling impulsive behavior, seemed to be the two we're targeting. A new study found that bribery seems to help, and more importantly, bribery helps more so than rewarding people with cash if they quit. The threat of losing money was the one thing that made it more and more successful. Here's what happened. Participants put an upfront cash deposit that would be taken away if they didn't quit for a year. The deposit program was twice as effective as a reward program and 5 times more effective than providing free non-smoking aids like nicotine replacement therapy. This study also found that group programs were more effective than individual-based one. And again, the important thing is not one thing works for everybody, so keep trying, you can quit.
So to be motivated by money to help you quit smoking.
Bribe yourself.
Not such a bad thing.
And in this case, give somebody the money and tell them you can't get it back until you stop. That's the thing that seems to motivate you the most.
I've seen some apps that take money out of your account or something when
Wow.
you do something that you've told yourself not to do. So I guess it works.
Those seems to work pretty well. Anything that seems like that can get that money away from you is going to help motivate you.
All right. Well, Dr. John, the sun is coming out eventually
It'll
here
be
in
here
southern
soon.
Colorado one day. But a reminder to people to always wear sunscreen, especially here in Colorado.
And the 3 important things, sunscreen, sunscreen, and sunscreen. I can't say it enough. And there's a picture that's actually gone viral that can help you remember this. And it might be a little gross for some people, but skin cancer survivor Tawny Willoughby is in both pictures. The selfie you see on the right is one she shared with Facebook during her treatment for basal and squamous cell carcinoma. She wanted to show her face bloodied with scabs and blisters, so hopefully she could deter her friends and family from using tanning beds and also to encourage them to wear sunscreen. Now, Willoughby was diagnosed at the age of 21 with skin cancer. She says she used tanning beds 4 to 5 times a week during her high school years. Well, now she's 27 and she's a mother, and she hopes her story will help save lives.
It's a shocking photo. It's kind of difficult to look at, but like you said, hopefully it does help change some people's lives.
Right, and like you said, it's very, very vibrant. It shows you exactly what can happen with these kind of cancers. You just have to be careful.
Well, sometimes it feels like you're hungry all the time. Doesn't matter what you eat, you're still craving something else. You just can't feel full. Is there something wrong with us?
Rand, I think that's just you.
It's probably just me.
You know, there's a lot of things actually that contribute to always feeling hungry. They range from things like lack of sleep to eating the wrong kinds of foods, stressing out. It turns out your appetite is dictated by not only physical factors, things around us, but also physiological factors, things inside our own body. Now, physically, you could be dehydrated, you could be a restless sleeper. These things can cause your appetite to go up. Certain meds can also make your appetite flare, and it could be related to some bad habits that you could hopefully fix. Starchy carbs, things like donuts or cookies, can end up leaving you hungry, making you look for more foods. You may also not be getting enough protein and fat or drinking too much alcohol. And when you skip meals, that can make you bingy when you do get back to eating again. But now some things are out of your control, like stress. If you're stressed out, you can be very susceptible to fast food ads, so just keep that in mind. And a lot of people end up being what we call stress eaters. They get stressed, they reach for the food. So try not to do that.
So I guess you can counter that stress by maybe just exercising to alleviate some of the stress in your life. And the other question, oh, go ahead, Dr. John.
No, I'm saying part of it's just recognizing that stress causes you to eat.
And what can we do to feel full and satisfied?
You know, a couple things you want to do is, number one, slow down your eating because you want your brain to catch up to your stomach. But another little trick is water. Start the day off with a bottle of water. Try to drink water instead of juice or soda as much as you can during the day. That helps fill your stomach up, gives you that full feeling, and hopefully you won't reach for the food quite as much.
All right, Dr. John, thanks for joining us. We'll see you for Medical Monday this coming Monday.
Yeah, have a great weekend, Dr. John.
You guys too.
Well, from apocalypse to acapella, there is something for everyone at the movies this weekend. We'll have a preview coming up. Since Rob missed the meeting, I filled him in on your hobo stomping. Yeah. Brightens up any day. Yeah. Makes you feel full.
You know who loves that word? Robbie.
Hobo?
Loves that word.
Why? That's a pretty good word.
Like about a year, maybe was it last summer or the summer before, he learned it. And he must, like, we're outside in the yard. He must have called Grace a hobo. Like, he's like, a dirty hobo, like 20 times. And then I started thinking, what if the neighbors thought, you know what I mean? I was like, oh, God. Like,
you have to have a good
finally, I was like, hey, just don't use that word anymore. Well, it's never too early to start making your weekend plans.
Yeah, we start doing it on Monday, right? Well, two very different movies hit theaters this week, a reboot of the Mad Max franchise and the sequel to Pitch Perfect.
You know what you're getting with both of these. Mad Max is back in Fury Road. This time, Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron will star in the post-apocalyptic road movie. Mad Max is rated R.
And the girls from Pitch Perfect are back
Can't wait
after...
to see it.
I think this is going to be good. I saw the first one and actually was pleasantly surprised.
Didn't realize there was a first
back
one.
It's Pitch Perfect too. Of course, there was a first one.
Can't wait for the third one.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you.